I've been thinking about something lately, and is that people don't actually chase happiness. They somehow negotiate with misery in their jobs, in their relationships, in life in general. And after a while, they call it normal, but it's not normal, it's just fear. And the scary part, it happens slowly. Reason number one. Misery is familiar, and familiar feels safer than risk. Because humans don't choose what's best. Humans choose what feels predictable. A toxic job? Well, at least you know how your boss behave, or at least it's near to your house, or at least you have good mates there, whatever reason. A draining relationship? No problem, at least you know that he will text you that night, or at least you know his behavior. And we prefer familiar discomfort over unfamiliar uncertainty, because if you leave, that means starting over, being alone, looking stupid, or failing publicly. So we stay, but not because we are actually happy, but because we are scared of the unknown. People don't stay because it's good, they stay because it's familiar. Of course, I've done this too, and I stayed longer than I should have. Not because I was happy or satisfied, but because I was afraid of what it will happen if I left. And we do this a lot in our lives. We just prefer to stay in our comfort zone.
You'll need to unlock your iPad first.
What the heck? I didn't say anything like, what the heck, Siri?
I found this on the web. By the way, if you have another request, you don't need to say Siri before you ask it.
I didn't say Siri.
Okay, I found this on the web, for I didn't say Siri.
I don't need you to search for anything, like what the heck? I'm just recording.
And started talking with me. I was like, what? Check it out.
I wasn't talking with you, Siri. What the heck? I
found this on the web, for I wasn't talking with you, Siri.
I don't need you to search for anything in the web. Okay, that was definitely a little bit creepy. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, so we do this a lot. We just prefer our comfort zone, even though that comfort zone can be toxic, but it's because it's familiar to us, and we somehow are afraid of the unknown and what will happen if I get out of my comfort zone. But that's a very dangerous behavior. So that's why most people decide to stay. They also confuse comfort with safety. And this one is actually so dangerous. Just because something feels stable doesn't mean that that's healthy. You can be comfortable in a job that is slowly killing your ambition. You can be comfortable in a relationship that's slowly lowering your standards. Or you can be in a relationship that's slowly making you lose your mind without you even noticing, because that happened to me. Comfort is not the same as alignment, and this happens because when you're too comfortable, you stop asking questions. And comfort is probably the most dangerous thing, especially if you have goals, if you are an ambitious person, if you want to be someone in life, let's say. Comfort is literally the worst thing that it can happen to you. Be too comfortable. It's so dangerous. And I actually somewhere have a piece of paper with a quote that means something like that, and that I have to remind myself every single time. I have it right here next to my computer so I can remind that. Okay, so this actually is a note that came in one of these, Chinese fortune cookies, and it was like literally a message for me from the universe, so that's why I have it here always right next to my computer. And it says, you can only improve if you are not satisfied. You won't probably see this because it's so small, but anyway. And this is a very important message though, because sometimes you have to even make yourself uncomfortable if you want to grow, because you can't be 100% comfortable and grow. Right? It's not compatible. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to be unsatisfied in order to grow, and in order to, get to your goals, have discipline and all that stuff. So sometimes, even though I have enough money, for example, I want to buy, let's say, whatever, a new camera, right? And I actually have that money in my bank account, so I can buy that camera right now if I wanted to, but sometimes I even make myself uncomfortable so I can make more money to buy that camera, not using the money I have in my bank account. I will be like, okay, I'm not using that money. I'm not using the money I have in my bank account until I will make more extra money. Let's say that the camera it's around $1,000. Until I don't make $1,000 for extra income, I'm not buying that camera. I'm making myself uncomfortable, so I'm somehow motivating also myself to make more money and be able to buy that camera. Be very, very careful with your comfort zone if you are willing to grow, because that will kill your growth. When you are too comfortable in your comfort zone, you stop asking yourself some questions. Is this what I really want? Is this who I'm becoming? Am I growing here or shrinking? And sometimes we choose comfort because growth can feel embarrassing. Growth can make you look stupid and lost before you look successful, and many people don't like that. But be very careful, because comfort will slowly become a cage over time. They also normalize red flags over time. At the beginning, you actually notice everything: the discomfort, the toxic behavior, the disrespect, the laziness, the lack of effort, the toxic work culture. Then you somehow start to rationalize it. Well, it's not that bad. Everyone's job is stressful, so mine is not that bad actually. Every couple argues, so this is normal. At least I have something, so, and slowly your standards start to adjust. What used to bother you doesn't shock you anymore. And what used to feel wrong now becomes, it is what it is. And that's how misery becomes normal. And the real problem is that the longer you stay, the harder it feels to leave, because now you've invested time. And nobody wants to admit that they invested in the wrong thing. Except me. Because that's what this channel is about, actually. So be very careful with this point, because what you tolerate repeatedly actually becomes your new normal. They are afraid of being alone more than being unhappy. And this is one that literally nobody likes to admit. Some people would rather be unhappy than alone, because loneliness feels louder than quiet disappointment. Because a bad or toxic relationship anyways still gives you someone to text, someone to sleep next to, or someone to post about, right? And a bad job still gives you anyway a paycheck every single month, structure, identity, and another excuse to not risk something else. But what people don't want to understand is that actually being alone forces you to confront yourself, and that's uncomfortable, of course. Sometimes we stay busy or attached because if we stopped, we'll have to ask bigger questions about our life. I can't literally mention how many people around me I know that they stay in toxic relationships or toxic jobs, even though they, for example, are artists or have another ambition, just because of this. Just because they fear being alone. And especially this is very, very dangerous for relationships. I have a lot of friends that they are single, and they are always asking me how to manifest my perfect partner, how to stay in a healthy relationship, how to find a healthy man, and this and that. And what I notice a lot of times is that you can't attract someone, you can't manifest someone if you are desperate because you are single and because you hate being alone. And this is actually the root of many relationship problems, because you hate being alone. You don't know how to be alone with yourself, so you desperately need someone else. Even though that relationship is toxic, even though it's not the best partner from them, or even though they have to lower their standards, and that's a very, very dangerous way of living your life. You have to be comfortable being alone with yourself first, and then you will naturally attract someone. Someone will magically appear in your life, and it will be a healthy relationship, I promise. But even though I repeat this thousands of times to my friends, to my family, or people who ask me, they understand that, but they still being afraid of being alone. And that's why they are repeating the same mistakes again and again and again. But that's a very interesting topic that I want to talk about, but it's so deep that I will have to dedicate another full separate video. They don't think they deserve better. Okay, this one may hurt, but some people tolerate misery because deep down they believe that they don't deserve more. If you grew up saying unstable love, then you will probably think that unstable love is normal. If you grew up saying people hating their job, then you will probably think that hating your job is part of adulthood. If you grew up with parents that told you that money is evil, millionaires and rich people are evil, and having that amount of money is not safe, is not good, then you will probably think that that's true, and you will probably be poor all your life because of that kind of mentality and because of that belief system that make you think that money is evil. Most of your standards in life actually are shaped by what you've seen, and mostly by your family and your parents, because that's the cycle when you grow up. And if you never seen better, you don't even know that that possibility even exists in the first place. So that is so important to open your mind, to read books, watch videos, change your cycle, change your town, change your house if you can, of course. Go visit other countries, eat a lot of different types of informations, new experiences, a lot of new cultures. Once you have read a lot of books, once you have traveled around the world, or at least to 2-3 new countries, or 2-3 new cities, once you talk to a lot of different people, once you start living a lot of more new life experiences, then you have a strong base that lets you create your own belief system, not your parents or your family. I'm not saying that parents are evil or are wrong, but they have another belief system, probably different than yours. My parents, for example, have this belief that money is evil and millionaires are evil, and that's why they're poor, actually. I know that that's a really hard truth, but it's the truth. If you think like that, of course, you won't never attract money into your life. Before I became independent and I moved to Madrid on my own when I was 21, I was another different person just because of my parents' belief system. And you can't avoid that, especially if you grew up with your parents all your life. That's what you've seen around you. And until you don't become independent and you don't do all the things I mentioned before, have your parents' belief system, but not your own. Since I become independent and I'm living on my own, I'm completely another different person, I swear. I don't have my parents' belief system, and that's why I used to argue a lot with them nowadays, but because we are so different now. But I'm so happy that now I have my own values in life, my own belief system, and my own goals, even though my parents will think that I'm just stupid, or that my dreams are surreal, or that I'm going on the wrong path. And here I am though. I don't think anymore that millionaire people are evil or money is evil. I want to be a millionaire, and that's what I'm working for every single day. But to end this point, remember that you can choose better if you don't believe better is available to you. So what's the real cost of tolerating misery? Well, the cost isn't just time, it's who you become. Same with relationships. If you have invested in the wrong relationship, or if you stayed in that relationship just because it was comfortable, then it will cost you not only your time. Some people left those type of relationships with trauma, with stress, believing that healthy and happy relationships are possible. It costs you a lot of things, not all the time. And that's actually something that can be very dangerous, because that will shape your life, and that will shape your belief system. And that can also lead you to every day stay somewhere that makes you feel small. You train yourself to accept less every single time, more and more and more. And that's something that happens to my mom a lot. Even though I try to change her belief system, that's nearly impossible because she's been doing that all her life. So it's a little bit hard to change her mentality right now. You start shrinking your own expectation. You stop believing that change is actually possible for you. One day, you wake up and you realize that you were building a life where just surviving in. And that's the real tragedy. That's actually one of my biggest fears in life. Live a life just surviving, not fulfilling my dreams, not fulfilling my goals, and regret it later. And don't tolerate any kind of misery in your life. Don't tolerate toxic behaviors, don't tolerate toxic jobs, toxic relationships. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. I'm not saying call your partner right now and break up with him. But I'm saying, please pay attention. Don't tolerate more misery in your life. You don't have to, and you don't deserve that. How to know if you are tolerating misery? Well, if you are constantly feeling drained, if you feel unappreciated, if you feel like you're settling for something that doesn't fulfill you, pay attention to your feelings, because your feelings are always communicating with you. And it is said that actually your feelings is your spirit guide. So your spirit guide is always guiding you and telling you where to be and where not to be, what is best for you and what not. And ignoring it doesn't make it disappear, it just makes you quieter. And now your favorite part of the video, your homework. Tonight I want you to write down 3 things. I really recommend you to get a diary or a notebook where you can get your homework done. Number 1, where in my life do I feel stuck but comfortable? Number 2, what am I afraid will happen if I left? Number 3, if fear wasn't involved, what will I choose instead? Ask those questions for yourself, but if you want me to give you my honest advice or opinion or feedback, whatever, write the answers in the comments down below so I can read them and I can share with you my honest advice or feedback or just talk with you. And also people in the comments can do the same and we can share our thoughts together. But please always be honest when answering these questions and doing your homework, because this homework is for you, is not for anyone else. So you have to be honest with yourself, okay? As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much if you watched till the end. Remember to subscribe, leave me a comment down below so I can know you better, and see you in the next one. Thank you so much. And if you like the vibe of this video, you will probably also like this one too. It's about 7 red flags in men that I myself experienced it, and I highly recommend you to avoid if you want a healthy relationship, and behaviors and stuff that you should never ever tolerate in a relationship. So see you there.